Genesis chapter 11. The Tower of Babel. At one time, all the people of the world spoke the same language and used the same words. As the people migrated to the east, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and settled there. They began saying to each other, "Let's make a bricks and harden them with fire." In this reign, bricks were used instead of stone, and the tar was used for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered all over the world." But the Lord came down to look at the city and the towers that people were building. "Look," he said, "the people are united and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other." In that way, the Lord scattered them all over the world, and they stopped building the city. This is why the city was called Babel, because that is where the Lord confused the people with different languages. In this way, he scattered them all over the world. The line of descendants from Shem to Abram. This is the account of Shem's family. 2 years after the great flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. After the birth of Arphaxad, Shem lived another 500 years old and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad was 35 years old, he became the father of Shanam. After the birth of Shanam, Arphaxad lived another 403 years and had another son and daughter. When Shanam was 30 years old, he became the father of Eber. After the birth of Eber, Shanam lived another 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber was 34 years old, he became the father of Peleg. After the birth of Peleg, Eber lived another 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg was 30 years old, he became the father of Reu. After the birth of Reu, Peleg lived another 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu was 32 years old, he became the father of Sharak. After the birth of Sharak, Reu lived another 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shirach was 30 years old, he became the father of Nawar. After the birth of Nawar, Shirach lived another 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nawar was 29 years old, he became the father of Terah. After the birth of Terah, Nawar lived another 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah was 70 years old, he became the father of Abraham, Lor, and Haran. Abram. The family of Terah. This is the account of Terah's family. Terah was the father of Abram, Lor, and Haran. And Haran was the father of Lot. But Haran died in Ur of the Chaldean, the land of his birth, while his father Terah was still living. Meanwhile, Abram and Lor both married. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai, and the name of Lor's wife was Milcah. Milcah and her sister Iscah were daughter of Lor's brother Haran. But Sarai was unable to become pregnant and had no children. One day, Taran took his son Abram, his daughter in law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and his grandson Lot, his son Haran's children, and moved away from Ur of the Chaldean. He was headed for the land of Canaan, but they stopped at Haran and settled there. Taran lived for 205 years and died while still in Haran. And then, chapter 12, the call of Abraham. The Lord has said to Abraham, leave your native country, your relative, and your father's family, and go to that land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous. And you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the family on earth will be blessed through you. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed, and the Lord went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all his wealth, his livestock, and all the people he had taken into his household at Haran, and had for the land of Canaan. When they arrived in Canaan, Abram traveled through the land as far as Shechem. There he set up camp beside the Ark of Moreh. At that time, the area was inhabited by Canaanites. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, I will give this land to your descendants. And Abram built a altar there and dedicated it to the Lord, who has appeared to him. After that, Abram traveled south and set up camp in the hill country, with Bethel to the west and Ai to the east. There he built another altar and dedicated it to the Lord. And he worshipped the Lord. Then Abram continued traveling south by stages toward the Negev. Abram and Sarai in Egypt. At that time, a severe famine struck the land of Canaan, forcing Abram to go down to Egypt, where he lived as a foreigner. As he was approaching the border of Egypt, Abraham said to his wife, Sarai, look, you are a very beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Let's kill him, then we can have her. So please tell them you are my sister. Then they will spare my life and treat me well because of their interest in you. And sure enough, when Abram arrived in Egypt, everyone noticed Sarai's beauty. When the palace officers saw her, they sang her praise to Pharaoh, their king, and Sarai was taken into his palace. Then Pharaoh gave Abraham many gifts because of her: sheep, goats, cattle, male and female donkey, male and female servants, and a camel. But the Lord sent terrible plagues upon the Pharaoh and his household because of Sarai, Abraham's wife. So Pharaoh summoned Abram and accused him sharply. What have you done to me? He demanded. Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister and allow me to take her as my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and get out of here. Pharaoh ordered some of his men to escort them, and he sent Abram Abram out of the country along with his wife and all his possessions. Okay, so that is chapter 12. So this chapter 11 and 12 is talking about Shem's descendants, and then Abram is come out. And later we will know Abram will change the name to Abraham, follow God's order. So that is the story at the beginning, and then later you will find his descendant story until Joseph. That will be another story. But in this chapter, I think the interesting thing is Babel Tower. I think this tower is kind of is like showing the human beings arrogant and pride. So God don't want the human being pride or arrogant, because that is a great sin. And human being always like to do that until right now. So when they got some ability, they didn't realize everything is come from God. They didn't appreciate God's gift, and they didn't keep humble, especially when they learned some new skill. Actually, anything you learn new also from God's gift. God give human beings intelligent, and God want the human being keep wise, wisdom to keep them humble. But not every human being do that. That's what happened in the Babel Tower. So a lot of people don't understand why God want to confuse human being with different language. God just want to remind them, don't be arrogant, don't be proud. That is the great sin. So God still want to remind us, don't get sin and keep humble. And then go back to Abram's story. Is a start from Shem, and which is Noah's son. Noah have three sons. We already know that, and one son's descendants is come to Abram. So that is Abraham's story, and there's show more detail about Abraham with his nephew Lot. So I think that is just the beginning, and there will be more story, and we will share with you in tomorrow. And hope everybody like this story, especially Abraham. They traveling with his wife Sarai traveled to Egypt. That is an interesting story also. Okay, so that is for today. Thank you for your watching and listening. God bless you. See you tomorrow.